6, Integrating the 4 Pillars of Ikigai. Welcome back to Giatti Glow, and welcome to week 6 of our Ikigai journey. I'm Barb Giatti, and I'm glad you're here. Every week, we come together to grow and glow, learning to live more fully, more consciously, as we glow from the inside out. This is week 6 of 12 of the Giatti Glow Ikigai podcast series. If you're following along in my 12-week Ikigai book, that's fantastic. If you don't have the book, that's absolutely fine, but you will want something to write with and to write on. If you'd like to get the book, just go to the About section of Giatti Glow where you found this podcast, and there will be a link to my 12 Ikigai coach sessions for coaches and individuals book on Amazon. Or you can just go to Amazon and search for Schnarr Coach. That's SCHNARR Coach. Schnarr is my maiden name, and that's what I use for these books. You can support this podcast by buying any of my books or donating on Buy Me a Coffee. The links are in the Giatti Glow description and at thelifecoach.store. Also, it sure would help me out if you could like, subscribe, and share this podcast. You can also get Giatti Glow merch at zazzle.com/GiattiGlow, and we now have a Patreon page, so you can go become part of the little community, and it's little right now, but it'll grow at patreon.com/GiattiGlow. Thanks. This week marks an important moment. One you may feel you can't quite immediately explain. Up till now, you've been exploring the pieces of Ikigai one by one. You've looked inward to rediscover joy. You've named strengths that you may have been quietly shaping your life for years. You've reflected on how you want to contribute to something larger than yourself, and you've considered how purpose and practicality can exist side by side. Now something different happens. This week is not about adding another idea, it's about bringing everything together. Ikigai was never meant to be a formula to solve or a diagram that you have to force yourself into. It's not rigid or static. Ikigai is about flow. It's about alignment. It's about what happens when your inner world and your outer life begin to move in the same direction, and instead of pulling against each other. Integration is the moment when purpose stops feeling theoretical and starts feeling lived. As we explore this, we also explore the experience of flow, because flow is often how Ikigai feels when it's alive in your day-to-day life. You may have experienced flow before, even if you didn't have a word for it. It's that state where you're so engaged in what you're doing that time seems to soften. You're focused but not strained. You're present but not pressured. Fully involved without feeling depleted. Flow can be described as a state where your skills are well matched to the challenge in front of you. The task stretches you but doesn't overwhelm you. There is meaning in what you're doing and clarity about why it matters. In flow, effort feels natural. You're not forcing yourself forward, you're moving with something. Within the context of Ikigai, flow often appears when your passions, strengths, and contributions intersect with your real life. It's what happens when you are doing something you care about, using abilities you trust, in service of something that feels meaningful. Flow isn't constant, and it doesn't need to be. But when it appears regularly, life begins to feel more coherent and less fragmented. To begin integrating your Ikigai, it helps to reflect on your own experiences of flow. Think back to moments in your life when you felt deeply absorbed in what you were doing. These moments may not have looked impressive from the outside, but internally they felt right. Ask yourself what you were doing during those times, and what made the experience so engaging, and what conditions allowed that immersion to happen. Often these moments share common threads, such as sense of purpose, autonomy, creativity, or connection. These memories are not nostalgic distractions, they are clues. Now let's bring together everything you've explored so far through what's often called an Ikigai map. Imagine 4 overlapping circles representing what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Instead of treating these as categories to fill in perfectly, think of them as lenses through which you can understand yourself more clearly. As you reflect on each pillar, notice where they naturally overlap. These intersections, they're not really final answers, they're more like possibilities, directions, places where alignment already exists or where it wants to grow. Integration doesn't happen in one moment of certainty, it happens through recognition and resonance. Here's a story to help make this real. Sarah, a 34-year-old marketing specialist, felt restless in her work despite being capable and successful. When she looked at her Ikigai map, patterns began to emerge. She loved writing and storytelling, and she was skilled in communication and strategy. She cared deeply about mental health advocacy and access to resources. And she realized that her professional experience could support nonprofit organizations working in that space. Her Ikigai didn't appear as something entirely new. It revealed itself through connection. Sarah began working as a communications consultant for mental health organizations, creating campaigns that aligned with her values and strengths. Her work felt purposeful, not because it was perfect, but because it made sense to her. Once you begin to see these overlaps in your own life, the next step is to articulate them. This is where creating an Ikigai vision can be helpful. A vision is not a promise or contract, it's a snapshot of alignment as it exists right now. As you shape your vision, consider what excites you most about what you've discovered. Think about the impact you want to have and the role or path that feels most natural to you. Your vision might only be a few sentences long, but it can serve as a compass. It gives you something to return to when choices feel unclear. Integration doesn't stop at insight, it continues in daily life. Ikigai lives in ordinary moments. It shows up in how you structure your time, how you focus your attention, and how you make small choices throughout the day. Creating flow in your daily routine begins with intention, not intensity. You might start each day by asking yourself what one action would bring you closer to alignment, and one action can be enough. Flow is supported by environments that allow focus and by rhythms that respect your energy. When larger goals feel overwhelming, breaking them into smaller steps helps maintain momentum. And when you take that time to notice progress, purpose feels reinforced rather than distant. To explore this more deeply, imagine a day where your activities naturally align with your Ikigai. Picture what you're doing, how you feel, and how the day unfolds. Notice the pace, the atmosphere, the sense of meaning. Don't think of this as fantasy, think of it as information. It shows you what your system responds to. And here's another story. Liam, a 45-year-old software developer, was experiencing burnout. He was skilled and respected, but disconnected. Through his Ikigai journey, Liam realized that what he was good at is technical work, and what truly energized him was teaching and helping others understand complex ideas. He began mentoring junior developers, which eventually led him to a technical training role. His work didn't become easier, it became more aligned, and in that alignment, he rediscovered flow. His days felt more purposeful, and his energy returned. As you continue your Ikigai, it may help you to find a plan for living flow intentionally. Identifying a few activities that align your purpose and giving them protected time can make a significant difference. Reflection at the end of the week helps you adjust gently rather than judge harshly. And as we close this episode, here's the most important thing to remember. Ikigai is not something you arrive at and then finish. It's something you practice. It's something you return to. Flow isn't a reward for living life perfectly. It's a signal that you're aligned. And by bringing the 4 pillars together, you're not creating a rigid path. You're creating a rhythm, and one that can evolve as you do. Next week, we'll explore how Ikigai evolves through change and how to stay connected to your purpose as life shifts around you. We'll see you next week. Giatti Glow is powered by the Life Coach Store, which is owned by me, Barb Giatti. On my website, you can find all kinds of great resources for over 20 types of wellness coaches. Check out thelifecoach.store for more information.